What is going on, guys? It is your boy King Scourge, and tonight we are doing a long-awaited Sky Striker deck profile. A quick disclaimer though, Sky Striker is a very fun, but it's a very technical deck as well. Um, and what I mean by that, it's gameplay style. Well, it has basically the three things that every person, every big anime fan, mostly guys, like. You have a cute girl. Well, you have cute girls. You have freaking mechas, and you have weapons and fighting. So Sky Striker's gimmick is to mostly keep your monsters out of the main monster zone as much as possible, and then you use like the pilots, which I'll explain later. You use like the pilots to be able to go into the different link monsters, and then use the spells. Most of them are quick plays to be able to as the weapons and manipulate the board state. So, without further ado, let's get started, guys. So the first monster we run, it's pretty standard. We run 3 Sky Striker Ace Ray. This is a 3 of mandatory. Um, so her effect is quick effect. You contribute her to special summon a Sky Striker Ace Link monster from your extra deck. Um, and then if a while she's in the graveyard, if a face-up Sky Striker Ace Link monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, or leave the field because of your opponent's card effect, you can special summon her. Both effects are quick effects, and when you special summon the Sky Striker Ace Link monster, couple things to note: it has to be in the extra monster zone. So she is your key starter. She's one of the pilots. You need to run 3 of her because she's what gets your play started. Also, just keep in mind that since she special summons the Link monsters, she doesn't specifically Link summon. So a quick ruling, if you special summon a monster from the extra deck, it is not considered properly summoned unless you summoned it through its own summoning procedure. So when that monster goes to the graveyard, you cannot bring it back until it is properly summoned. So just keep that in mind. So that. All right. Next, I am running the desires, so I play 2 Sky Striker Ace rows. Now, most people, the standard is usually 3 and 1. I play 3 and 2 because, again, I understand the logic, but I feel comfortable. If you're playing desires, which a lot of people are, I understand the cutting it down to 1, but I like playing 2 because I like to be safe. I like to play it safe, but you can definitely bump her down to 1 if you have to play at least one of her. And her effect, by the way, she's not very good. You don't want to draw her. You want to keep her in the graveyard though, but if a Sky Striker Ace Link monster or monster's normal special summon except during damage step, you can special summon her from the hand. And then while she's in the graveyard, if an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone would be destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of your card effect, while it's in the graveyard, you can special summon her, and then she can negate. Um, you can target one of the face-up monster your opponent controls and negate the effects of that monster. She's not very good, but she is a Sky Striker Ace, and you have to play at least one of her because she's the other one that helps you get out your Link monsters. Now that's it for the pilots. I mean, now we just have hand traps. Right now, since I also running cross out, I decided to bump Ash down to 2. Um, you can play 3 Ash if you want, but just consistency. My deck is like 42 cards right now, so I play 2 Ash, well, 41 cards, but and I play 2 Droll. Like I said, I Droll's at 2. Um, you don't really you can put some other hand traps in there if you want, but you don't really want to have too many monsters. So because you want to so that's it for the monsters, guys. Like I said, very low monster count. Um, let's talk about the spells and traps. So the first spell, um, 3 Sky Striker, Mobilize Engage. This is a 3 of mandatory. Basically, if you control no monsters in the main monster zone, you can add a Sky Striker card from your deck to your hand. It is not once per turn, and it also has a bonus effect where if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can draw a card. this is how the deck gets started. So you need to play 3 of this. This is mandatory. And like I said, I'm going to be emphasizing the extra monster zone, like, and main monster zones. You have to, it's very technical. Next, I play 3 Sky Striker mobilize linkage. This is also another 3 of, this is like one of the weapons. So basically, if you control no monsters in your main monster zone, this locks you out of the extra deck except for Sky Striker Ace monsters. But you send another card, you can send a card you control to the graveyard, or send a card you control to the graveyard as cost. It doesn't have to be face up, face down, doesn't matter. And then you special summon a. This is essentially your fourth, fifth, and sixth copies of. These is essentially your fourth, fifth, and sixth copy of your Sky Striker Ace Array. Um, and then this also has a bonus effect where if you have Sky Striker Ace Ray and Rose, or a light and dark Sky Striker Ace monster in your graveyard, the monster you summon gets 1,000 attack point boost, and this is not once per turn. So there is a line where you can OTK because it's a quick play, so you can go battle phase, like do some shenanigans where like attack it directly with Hayate, and then damage step, send something, and then activate linkage, summon like Kagari, send the link monster you summoned, or send a card you control, and yeah. So this is a 3 of as well. This is like one of your many weapon cards. And the other really good Sky Striker weapon, um, Widow Anchor. So basically, this is a pseudo imperm. You can target a monster if you have no monster in your main monster zone, you can target a monster your opponent controls, negate its effects, and if you have 3 or more spells in your grave, you can also steal that monster until the end phase. This is not once per turn, but this is your main weapon. It's like a pseudo imperm and snatch steal, and it's a quick play, so you can set it and use it on your opponent's turn, which is really nice. Again, since I'm playing Desires, I up my ratios a little bit because you want to have at least one in rotation, but most builds only play one Lemniscate. This is an interesting card. So you can target equal number of Sky Striker and Sky Striker Ace cards in your graveyard, spells. So Sky Striker Ace monsters and Sky Striker spells in your graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck, and you have to shuffle even numbers. So like if I wanted to do 3 monsters, I would have to do 3 Sky Striker Ace monsters and then like 3 spells. So you have to do an equal number. And then anyway, you were shuffle them into the deck or extra deck if they're linked monsters. And then for every 3 cards you shuffle into the deck in this way by this card, you can non-target return a card to the hand your opponent controls. So non-target. So this essentially outs a Dragoon potentially because it doesn't target. The only way that it's really nice. So you don't have to declare what you're bouncing back. So and then it has a graveyard effect where if a Sky Striker Ace monster, or sorry, Sky Striker monster is normal special summoned while it's in the graveyard, you can banish the Lemniscate to immediately link summon using monsters you control. So it's kind of like a pseudo IP Masquerena in a sense, because you can use both effects on the same turn. You don't have to wait to use them. But yeah, most people play 1, but again, I play Desire, so I really don't want to kind of banish. And it's one of those cards, it's not very good to have in your opening hand, but I understand the logic behind it. Then I play the 1 Shark Cannon. Shark Cannon basically is like a pseudo called by. You target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it if you control more monsters than main monster zone, I should say. You target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you have 3 or more spells in your grave, you can special summon that monster to your field, but it cannot attack. So, yeah. You only need as a 1 of, though. You don't really, you have other really power spells. This deck is like 98% spell, 95% spells. Maybe even more. And then Um, one Hornet drones. You can only play one. This card's still limited, and you can see why. This summons a Sky Striker Ace token with 0/0 stats. But if you have 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you can. Its attack and defense become 1500. Also, you have to control the monster your main monster zone. But yeah, you search it. You go engage. One of the combos is you can like go engage, drop, search this, activate this, summon the token, link it off into something. Helps get your play started, and I can see why this card is still limited. It's really good. Um, Lastly, you can take this card out if you'd like, but I personally like it. Um, I play one Ego Booster. So what Ego Booster does, if you control no monster in your main monster zone, you can target any monster on the field. It is unaffected by card effects except its own. Also, if you have 3 or more spells in your grave, it cannot be destroyed by battle. So it's a Sky Striker card, so it's searchable, and it's just kind of like reinsurance. That you, unless they can punch over, unless they can do this, kind of ensures that you're surviving a turn. It's situational, but I can see if you want to take it out, but I play as a one of. So that's it for the Sky Striker cards. Now we're just playing some of the best generic cards in the game, like spell cards. 3, Fall on the Virtuous. So to sum it up, Fall on the Virtuous, basically, you send a monster that mentions Fall on the Elbaz from your extra deck to the graveyard, and you can apply one of these effects depending on, well, let me restart, sorry. So this card has 2 effects. The first one is you can send a monster that mentions Fall on the Elbaz from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, target one card in the field, destroy it. Really good at helping dodge cards. And then if you have an Ecclesia in your graveyard, it's a quick play monster reborn. You can special summon a monster from either player's graveyard, assuming it's been properly summoned. But yeah, this is a 3 of, and we do play targets for it. But it's very good. It helps to play around certain cards. It's one of the best quick play spells in the game at the moment. Next, I play 3 Radiant Typhoon Visions. This is literally, I'm surprised this wasn't a secret rare, but this is draw 2 card. Well, this also has 2 effects. You can either set a Mystical Space Typhoon from your deck or graveyard to the field, or you can draw 2 cards and discard 1 card. But that card you discard has to be a quick play. Otherwise, you lose your hand. Very good. Since this deck is mostly quick plays, that's not a problem. So, very good. And we need the draw engines, and it's just more spells put in your grave. And then if this card is destroyed by the effect of Mystical Space Typhoon, you get to set it. Like I said, you guys knew it was coming. 3 desires. The more cards you draw, I mean, if this gets ashed, oh well, it sucks. Sometimes it happens. But yeah, 3 desires, that's standard, which is why I'm running duplicate copies of things like Rose and stuff. 3 Upstart. Goblin. Simple card, gives your opponent 1,000 life points, but you're just using it for spell fodder because you want to have as many spells in your grave as possible. Because then you get the bonus effect over most of your Sky Striker stuff. Now, I was running 3 Droplet, but I've been looking at some lists, and I decided to cut down Droplet to 2. And my reasoning, you can definitely play 3. I mean, 3 Droplet's really good. But the reason why I'm playing only 2 Droplet and decided to cut it down to 2 is because I'm also playing 2 Forbidden Crown. Mainly for and I'm sorry, the glare. I would also recommend I apologize. Give me 1 second here. I would also recommend I understand Droplet is an extremely expensive card right now. I mean, it's like $130 right now. Or, sorry, Forbidden Crown is $130. Um, yeah, because of Cool Tune. And I picked mine up. I need a third copy, but I'm not worried about a third copy. I can get away with two. So if you don't have a third crown, if you don't have Crown, I would definitely play the third Droplet. But this just mass negates stuff. Helps break boards. So you can send, basically for its effect, you can send any number of cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Non-target negate that many monsters' effects. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the card types that you sent. So, for instance, if you sent a monster, a spell, and a trap, they can't activate monster spells or traps in response to the Droplet. If you send if you only send spells, send all spells, they can respond with a trap or very good. And a quick little interaction ruling too. So if you send 3 cards, for example, let's say you send two spells and a monster, right? To negate 3 cards, you send 3 cards, right? And your opponent responds with something that they can respond to. So let's say you sent 3 spells, for example. Okay. Your opponent activates like a trap card to flip everything face down. Droplets will then fizzle. Droplet has to negate the exact number of cards you sent. So if that number changes, negate the number of monsters on the field equal to the number of cards that you sent. So if the number of monsters, let's say you sent 3 cards to activate Droplet, and they can activate something in response, and they do something to change the number of monsters, and they only have 1 monster on the field. Let's say they had 3 monsters. You activate Droplet, send 3 monsters, right? Or three whatever. Send 3 cards off a Droplet, and your opponent chains like Book of Eclipse or something to flip those 3 monsters face down or change the number of monsters on the field. Droplet cannot negate, therefore it would resolve. It would not resolve. Sorry if I explained that, but that's kind of a fun ruling. Interesting ruling. So just keep that in mind the next time you're at a locals or regionals or something. So, like I said before, I also play 2 Forbidden Crown. This is specifically for Cool Tune. If you could pick up these copies, I would recommend playing 3, but I decided to break it down to 2 and 2 for room consistency. I'm going to try it out. So Forbidden Crown is insane. It doesn't target like Droplet. Just like Droplet, it does not target. But this only works on 1 monster, but basically you can apply all the following effects. So you can choose 1 monster on the field. Here we go. Negate its effects. It cannot that monster. You negate that monster effects. It cannot attack. It is unaffected by your opponent's unaffected by other cards and effects except its own. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. It cannot be tributed, and it cannot be used for a summon. I may like to joke around here and say you also have it. That monster also has to file for divorce. It must leave the country immediately. It is no longer eligible to apply for a job in the United States of America ever again. Yada yada yada. I'm kidding on those last 2 parts, but very good. This kind of shits on Cool Tune, specifically because they can't use the synchros from the hand, so you fire off a Droplet and it slows them down. Next, we play 1 triple tactical talents. If your opponent hand traps you, you get to either draw 2, rip a card from their hand, or take control of a monster non-targeting. The one cross out and called by for hand traps. Mainly Droll, if people are maining Droll this format. Yeah, if we get hit by a Droll, and like I said, I side Bell. Droll and Bell suck. Droll, we pretty much auto lose. It's very hard to, if you get hit by a Droll, yeah, frickin' bird. 1 Rhoda because it searches your Ray and Rose, and it's at 1. And lastly, you can cut this card too if you want, but I play the 1 MST. Just you could cut it, but I feel like the it's another spell, and it really isn't bad to draw. Well, unless you're going first, it isn't the worst. Plus, it's searchable off of the Radiant Typhoon Visions. So, all right. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. Okay. So for the extra deck, we have 3 Sky Striker Ace Kagari. I've seen people bump this down to 2 for room, but no, I personally 3 Kagari is like the one of the best monsters in the extra deck because on special summon, you can only first off you can only special summon all the Sky Striker Ace monsters once per turn. They all have that restriction. So on special summon, Kagari requires one non-fire Sky Striker Ace monster, so you can't link into herself. Which you can use your Ray Rose, you can cheat her out the other way with Ray. But on special summon, you can target 1 Sky Striker spell in your grave, add it to your hand. And she gains 100 attack for each spell in your graveyard. So she's your main beater. You could bump her down to 2, but I really do like 3. Very important. Next, I play 3 Sky Striker Ace 0. This is another very important card. Almost as important as Kagari. Probably even more important Kagari. You want to get this out before you get out Kagari. Because you're usually going to cheat it out with Ray's effect. But on summon, she is Kagari on steroids. She can either add from the deck or graveyard any Sky Striker spell. And then she can't be used as link material too, so that's also important to know. And you can only activate 1 of her effects per turn. So you can either activate her on summon effect, or you can activate her other effect, which is a quick effect. You can tribute her to special summon a Sky Striker. You special summon a Sky Striker Ace Ray and Rose from hand and graveyard. So, and then you can destroy a card in the field. So this is very important. But like I said, you can only use only use 1 effect per turn. So typically, since Ray is a quick effect, your Sky Striker Ace Ray, what you do is normal summon Ray. Usually keep Ray on, and then use Ray's effect to try and special summon a 0, get 0 to search. And if they stop it, okay, cool. Then you kind of have fodder up for if you didn't banish the Rose off Desires, which is why I run 2 Rose. So then I play the 1 Amatsu. So this one is interesting, but it's very good. This basically kind of overwrites a monster effect. If your opponent activates a monster effect on the field with more than 2,000 attack points, you can change that effect to destroy 1 Sky Striker Ace Link monster your opponent controls. And it's like a negate, quote unquote, but it overwrites the effect. And then when an attack is involved, involving it and an opponent's monster, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls, and 1 Sky Striker Ace Link monster your opponent control, or 1 Sky Striker Link monster you control, and 1 monster your opponent controls. So, very good. I play 1 Shizuku. So Shizuku weakens it's like the opposite Kagari. Shizuku weakens your opponent's monsters by 100 points for every spell in your graveyard. And during the end phase, if she was special summoned, she has to remain on the field. You get to add a Sky Striker spell from your deck to your hand that has a different name than the card Sky Striker spells in your graveyard. So So I play one Camellia. So this one requires 2 effect monsters, and this one must be first link summoned. But you can only special summon it once per turn. Once per turn, if you have 3 or less spells in your graveyard, you can send one Sky Striker card from your deck to the graveyard. And if it's sent to the graveyard, if this is sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster your opponent controls, special summon this card to your opponent's field, and then it comes back to you during the end phase of the turn, and then you can send the targeted monster graveyard. So it's a weird form of removal, but it's generic. It requires 2 effect monsters. It requires Sky Striker Ace monster. And then we play one Azalea, or I play one Azalea. Azalea, basically, once per turn, you can target one card in the field, destroy it, and then she offs herself if you have 3 or less spells in your graveyard. And then once per turn at start of damage step, if she battles, you can banish a spell from your graveyard to destroy that monster at the start of damage step. So that's really nice. So she can kind of help you get over things. And then I play the one Hayate. Hayate is the one that can attack directly. And she has an effect to send any Sky Striker spell to the graveyard during damage step, which this effect is not ashable because it happens during damage step. So that's another ruling that I think you guys should know. And then I play one Zeke. So Zeke must first be link summoned, but you need 2 monsters, including a Sky Striker Ace. So when Zeke is special summoned or link summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field, banish it until your opponent's next end phase. And then it also has a once per turn where you can target one other card you control, and it will give itself 1,000 attack. Zeke will gain 1,000 attack and then send it to the grave. It sends a targeted card you targeted to the grave. So, in other words, for instance, so let's say I had a face down, right? I would target the face down. Zeke would gain 1,000 attack points, and then the targeted card would go to the graveyard. So that's how Zeke would work. And instead of SP Little Knight, I'm gonna try, because we're playing linkage, and linkage does technically lock you. I play the one combined engage 0. So you need 2 light and or dark monsters. So cannot be used for link material. If it's special summoned, you can target one monster with 2,000 more attack, negate its effects until the end of the turn, and then at the start of damage step, if you have Sky Striker Ace and Rose, so the 2 pilots in the grave, you can it's a Raigeki, destroy all monster your opponent controls. Very good. So if it attacks, so this is a board wipe. If you don't want to play this, you can swap it for SP Little Knight. Just keep in mind that you won't be able to really do the combo if you activate linkage, because it locks you into Sky Striker Aces after it resolves. And then for the last 2 extra deck cards, we play one Albion, the Shrouded Brandy Dragon. So you're just using it to send off a Fallen the Virtuous, and then during the end phase, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a branded spell or trap. You can either add to your hand or set a branded spell or trap, which is basically going to be another copy of Fallen the Virtuous. So it's very good. And then I play the one Ecclesia of the Dark Dragon. You're not summoning this, it's just another target, and then you can also, when it's in your graveyard, you can target and recycle the Albion. So basically what the Ecclesia of the Dark Dragon does is, if it's in the graveyard, you can target level 8 fusion monster in your graveyard of banishment and 1 card in the field, shuffle both cards and this card into the deck. So basically what you do is you target the Albion and 2 cards your opponent controls. Well, target the Albion, and then it shuffles the Albion and this, and a card your opponent controls into the deck. Alrighty, guys, so that just looks like it wraps up our deck profile for tonight. As always, if you guys like my content, please feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is the first video um, that I've done since being in the new house where you guys get to see my beautiful face again, other than the update video. Um, and until next time, guys, have a good night. Peace.